Hello, so I'm back in the same exact outfit. I think we almost know now that 2 videos, 3 videos per outfit. I'm a mom. The time I spend on changing outfits and all of that and shooting these videos, the better it is for me. Then I can spend more time with my little one. So I wanted to speak about gender-based violence. So I live in South Africa. And it is a huge problem in South Africa. I myself, in my previous relationship, have been a victim of gender-based violence. And today, my sister-in-law, who doesn't know that I have been a victim of gender-based violence before her brother, we were talking about gender-based violence and what perpetuates it, what happens, what is it that that causes it, and why do women stay? So for a very long time before I became a victim, I used to think, like a lot of people that haven't been in abusive relationships think, why doesn't the woman leave? Like, why is it not that easy? And the example that I gave, she didn't ask the question outright. It just came out as the conversation was flowing, how people judge women and say, why don't women leave, and all of that. And my answer to it was that imagine if your mom gives you a hiding. Your mom gives you a hiding. The next day you wake up, you make coffee for your mom because your belief is that your mom has your best interest at heart. And she loves you. And therefore she's correcting you out of love. It's a common mistake that a lot of women, and that I myself made in a relationship. Because when your parents bring you up to a certain point, the hidings stop. It's illegal now in South Africa to do it, but in our generation it wasn't. So you get to a point where the hiding stop. Why do the hiding stop? Because your parents believe that they've brought you up enough for you to understand the difference between right and wrong. There's no place for beatings in a relationship. But the same mentality of when you wake up the next morning is still there for you as a human being, because you fell in love with this person made you fall in love with them, they pursued you, you love them, and from the moment that a person starts abusing you to the time it has got taken till then, it's not overnight. They've built love, they've built care in you, and gradually it gets to a point of abuse. So it first starts with mental abuse, then it is, verbal abuse, then it gets to the physical abuse. Once they have mastered certain steps before they start beating you, you're already deep in it. You're already in love for most women. And therefore, the challenge that comes within you is, how can this person, in most cases, that pursued me, that loved me, that showed me love, and in some instances that I have children with, how can they be so abusive? You struggle mentally with that for a long time. And that's what I think is one of the reasons why women don't just up and leave. Then for most women, it's then that this person is taking care of me. I don't know where I'm going to go after this. And then comes the social part where if I leave this person, people won't believe me. Or I have spoken to people about it and people just tell me that you're overreacting. What are you going to do without him? He's a great dad. He's a great person. And 9 times out of 10, in front of people, these people or the abuser is a phenomenal person. He's not gonna beat you in front of people most of the time. He won't. He doesn't. But then comes the other element that I raised, is that sometimes in society, we bring up men to have certain beliefs about where they stand in society and what their role is in society. And that role is that you are the man, you are the provider, this is a woman, she's weaker than you, in some cases they believe she's beneath you. And what angers me the most is this whole thing and about Istembu and this whole Istembu thing that has been going around, and how, a woman is referred to as, my wives are like my children, and therefore I treat them as my children and I groom them and I correct them as such. I have a huge problem with that, because I believe that that is part of what men are taught by society, that is their role. It is a role of being above somebody, more powerful than somebody, and in control of somebody. Therefore, we are not equals. And then we get to a point of this whole upbringing, you get into a relationship and you realize that actually we are equals. And then your whole belief system and your upbringing and what society says about who you're meant to be is shattered because we are equals. We're not equals in strength. Some men are stronger than other women, and most men have a build that is stronger of the female race. But we are equals in the sense that we are both in a relationship. We are equal partners in a relationship. It's not about masculinity. It's not about power. It's not about strength. It's about my heart beats the same for you in this relationship as yours beats the same for me. And if I take care of you, you take care of me. That's how it works in a relationship. For us to say, and the other example that I gave is that if a couple are sitting, society, and they have a child, society believes that if that child is crying, it is the mother's responsibility to go and soothe the child. Society also believes that if that child needs a bottle, it is the mother's responsibility to go and make the bottle for that child or feed that child. But here's the tricky part. Then the mother dies and the children are left with the father. Then all of a sudden, this father is praised for doing all of the things that he is doing, taking care of the children, making the bottles, changing the diapers, all of that when his partner is no longer alive. But what stops you from doing these things when your partner is alive or is there? Or why can you now do it when she is not there? Is it assumed that until she dies, it is her responsibility? And I know I'm speaking about a lot now. Maybe I will record another video and go into each individual topic. But then there's another part that baffles me completely. And that is for males to be brought up in such a way that there is no domestication. They're not domesticated. They're not taught that being domesticated is important. But the female child is. So are you just meant to provide and then that's it? Because now we get into situations where we can both provide. Then what happens to this whole upbringing and this construct and this society that has brought up our men in this way? And then we blame our men for having issues. Because you've just it's like a woman walking into a marriage and realizing that she doesn't need to be domesticated. That the whole domestication was a facade. But she has now built her whole character on being domesticated. How do you function as a human being after the fact? And I'm not saying that that is the only reason. There are a lot of other reasons why there's gender-based violence, there's all of that. But that is one of the reasons that we find our men now unable to function and dealing with devils within themselves of what do I do from here on out? Am I now a man? Am I not a man? How do I show my manhood? And that's when then the violence comes in. And in my case, it was control. You can't do this. You can't go there. You cannot wear that. We sit in the house. You don't socialize with your friends. I'm your friend. We are friends. This life is your life. There's nothing beyond it. Don't pursue any career goals. Because then if you do, and it gets to a point where you earn more than me, where does my masculinity lie? And my sister-in-law put it well. She said, it's toxic masculinity. And whether we know it or can identify it or not, but within our own societies and our own homes, it is being taught. And how do you know? What happens when there are two children, one is a female, one is a male? We've just had dinner. We're watching a soapy or whatever the situation may be, or the soap is done, and the dishes need to be washed. Who do you call to wash the dishes? There's two children. They are two children. English. And they're playing outside. Dinner needs to be prepared. Which child do you call? Which gender do you call to come and cook? Guests have just walked into the house. They need to be offered tea or coffee, or cool drink or water, or whatever beverage. The children are outside, or the children are in the bedroom. Which child do you call? Which gender do you call? Can your son cook? Can your son change a diaper? Can your son offer the guests tea or coffee? And there are millions of moms out there that are changing the narrative. And I give you kudos, because the partners to those children will come into a balanced life. And it's not to say that those men that cook or that help around the house or don't see that as being feminized. Some of them are also abusers. But the majority of gender-based violence comes back down to gender roles, gender norms, and what society deems it to be or not to be. That's just one element. There are many. I'll see you on the next video. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. It's a deep topic, but it's a topic that needs to be had. And I can sit here for hours and have it, because I've been through it. Bye.